What's good, fellas? UFC Fight Night Tsarukyan versus Hooker in Qatar just wrapped up. Banger of a card. The picks were on point this weekend, boys. I knew they were going to be. I felt really good about a lot of these picks. 12-2, probably my best week of predictions so far. The card was awesome. Heaps of finishes, TKOs and subs all the way down the card. Some really solid performances. Division's getting moving, just like we love it. Punch-ons, really enjoyed this card. Let's go through every single fight. We'll start at the main event. We'll work our way down to the less important fights, and I'll tell you all the good shit that happened in this card. Starting with the main event, boys. Arman Tsarukyan taps out Dan Hooker in round 2 with an arm triangle. Just like I predicted, boys. I said it was going to be an Arman takedown fest. He's going to get him out of there by submission in round 2 or 3. And I actually called the method. I said it was going to be a head and arm choke or a Kimura in round 2 or 3. I know there's a couple of this or that's in there, but really, we nailed that one, I reckon. So Arman, he dominates Dan Hooker. It's a bit of a mismatch, this one, fellas. It felt that way. Like, respect to Dan Hooker. He's a tough prick, but yeah, he was out of his league in there. And even though he started pretty nice with some kicks and got Arman's attention with a couple of things and had him in a little bit of a dangerous gilly at one point, Arman just stayed calm, pieced him up on the feet with a couple of really nice shots early. Shows his elite jiu-jitsu ground game just with some of those scrambles. Like, Hooker has a pretty nasty guillotine and he got him in there, and Arman just did like a full body, like 360 twist and ends up on top somehow. It just reminded me of those epic scrambles he did against Gamrot back in their fight. Yeah, look, he was threatening the crucifix. He was landing bulk elbows, especially in round 2. Once he got Dan Hooker down in the center of the octagon in round 2, it was all over, boys. He was just throwing tight little slicing elbows. Hooker was already busted up after round 1, I think from a head clash, but might not have been. There was a lot of shots that landed and a good knee at the start of the fight too. And yeah, he just rains down elbows throughout all of round 2. Hooker just gets busted up. He's got hematomas all over his face, and I even called it right before it happened. I said, here comes the head and arm. He got into full mount, just slipped through there effortlessly. Really nice performance jiu-jitsu-wise from Arman. And yeah, he latches up the head and arm choke really tight. Hooker, respect to him. He tries to fight his way out of it, but he knows it's all over, and he taps before he goes to sleep. That was a number 1 contender performance from Arman Tsarukyan if I've ever seen one, even though it was a bit of a layup performance, to be honest. He did make it look stupidly easy, which he should have, and he did. And he called out Ilia Topuria, and what else is the option, boys? Like, it's got to be that. I thought they were going to get Ilia in the cage and make a bit more of a deal of it, but yeah, Arman, good on him. He had his dad there. It was a wholesome moment. He got his layup, but he consolidated, called his title shot. I reckon he gets it. We'll see what happens with Ilia. Probably not going to fight for 2 years or something, but yeah, really impressed with that performance from Arman. Pretty easy pick, and we get another main event. Let's go. We're clawing it back, fellas. On to the co-main event. We had Garry defeating Belal Muhammad by unanimous decision. Also, pretty much exactly how I predicted this one, boys. I said Belal might have a few moments in the clinch, but Gary's going to look better on the feet. He's going to piece him up. He's going to land the cleanest shots, visible damage, and yeah, and win on activity on the feet, and that's pretty much exactly how it went down, lads. Garry split Belal up immediately in round 1 with a jab. I didn't even really see it, but it busted him up nasty below the eye. And then he eye poked him pretty early on. Poor fucking Belal's eye. He's been in the wars the last couple of years. Gary's like, nah, man, denies it like a tosser. He clearly poked him in the eye that first time. But then the second time in round, I think it was 2, it was a bit less obvious, and Belal took another minute or 2 to have a rest, but it looked like it was a punch or a corner of a glove, that second one, but yeah, all good. He got poked in the eye, and look, I've been saying it every weekend, boys. Always take your free eye pokes. They're there. They swing the fight into your favour, and you don't get penalised unless you do it 3 or 4 times, or unless it's super friggin' obvious. So yeah, fighters need to do that a bit more, I reckon, because it works and it helps you win the fight. I'd love to know the statistics of how often the guy who gets poked in the eye actually loses the fight, because it's a pretty impactful strike to land. So just like a nut shot too, like it's going to be like, I've been poked in the eye and I've been kicked in the balls, and I can't imagine I'd be in a great position or mindset to win a fist fight after that. So yeah, Garry fights smart, controls the range like he always does. Plenty of great oblique kicks and teeps, and just really controlled and put Belal on the back foot with his jab. He got his jab going really nicely later in the fight, and also landed a few really solid shots. Got a bloody epic head kick at one point. The jab was just warming up as the fight went on. Look, Belal was landing a few here and there. He actually got Ian's attention a couple of times, but nothing special. Ian Garry's got an underrated chin, I reckon, as well. And he just does enough to stay really safe, and he knows how to keep himself right at the end of guys' punches and pops his head back. So it's going to be very hard for someone to knock Ian Garry out, even though we need it to happen at least once in his career. It's going to take a really surprising and epic performance to actually sleep this guy. So a little bit annoying there, but his head movement was really good too. He split Belal with an elbow later in the fight, landed a big spinning back kick and a front kick. It was a really good, versatile striking performance from Garry. Pretty vintage from him. He looked the same way as he's looked in his last few fights. Hittable, but not really. Like, you can touch him, but you can't really land clean on Ian Garry. His takedown defense was elite. Even though Belal, I don't think his takedowns were all that good. They were pretty telegraphed, and he kind of just shot for the clinch more so than the actual takedown. Didn't really try that hard to lift him or dump him or anything, but maybe that's just a credit to Ian Garry's takedown defense. So Ian Garry clearly wins the fight. I think it was 30-27 for two judges, 29-28 for the other one. Maybe you can give Belal round one, but I thought it was a clear 30-27 for Garry, which is what I called, and I reckon I'm taking that. Ian Garry, still annoying as fuck, still punchable as fuck, but yeah, he's a top contender in the welterweight division, and that's a big, an impressive thing to be, because that welterweight division is absolutely stacked beyond belief. So he calls out Islam with a really sick call out, got me a little bit hyped up. So yeah, I think the other contenders are going to have a big guy in their way there. I'd be very surprised if they put anyone else above Ian Garry, even though Ian Garry is ranked number 7 or something. Doesn't make a lot of sense because Carlos Prates is ranked above him. Look, they're probably going to end up going with the Michael Morales fight, but I think probably Ian Garry is the most deserving contender for Islam at welterweight there, and he wants to fight, so why not give it to him? Either way, we either get Islam getting pieced up or we get Garry losing again, which is always a good day for the UFC fans, but maybe you won't get knocked out. But anyway, good shit from Ian Garry. Another good pick. We got the main co-main. We got just about every single fight, boys. The only two we dropped were our stupid bloody underdog, dumbass pick, the next one, which I'll just talk about, Menifield, and this fucking wank-ass performance from Saygid Izagakmayev, that useless prick. So yeah, I think the picks are pretty good. Anyway, Volkan Oezdemir knocks out Alonzo Menifield badly. He gets a standing TKO and then a crumpling knockout. It was nasty work from Volkan Oezdemir. I picked Alonzo Menifield, but I picked it on a complete whim and a complete tap pick. Horrific pick from me. My dumbass friggin' single road cooked retarded brain cell was pick Menifield, bro. Look, the logical pick was Volkan Oezdemir by KO. That was my first thought, but I just wanted to be a little bit crafty, and get a decent underdog pick. I didn't pick a lot of underdogs. A lot of favourites won on this card, but we got the Kyoji Horiguchi one, which is a good pick. Talk about that one in a sec, but yeah, Volkan Oezdemir just immediately backs up Alonzo Menifield, and Alonzo couldn't really get his respect. He did land one shot that kind of got Volkan's attention, but it wasn't enough to get him off him, and he just hunted him down. Lands a big uppercut and a knee that just really rocked Alonzo Menifield bad, and then he just pieces him up against the cage. Alonzo was trying his best to move his head around, but he was just getting whooped up. Half of the shots were landing, half of them were just missing, and eventually he just lands a couple of flush as clean ones on the jaw that, span Alonzo Menifield's chin around and had his eyes rolling in the back of his head. The ref was about to jump in, and then he just lands the last final blow that flatline KOs Alonzo Menifield. You can't start slow in these big heavyweight divisions, mate. There's fellas there that are going to put your lights out before you get a chance to warm into the fight. It was like Alonzo was trying to, download the data like he did against, and have a snoozy sparring session again, like he had against Umar Sy, but can't do that against big, powerful pressure fighters like Volkan Oezdemir. So very, very nasty KO win for Volkan Oezdemir. Dropped that pick, unfortunately. That's the only one I got wrong on the main card. Yeah, he's a nasty bit of work there, Volkan Oezdemir. I'd like to see him up against some of those big hitting guys at light heavyweight. I think there's some explosive bangers ahead in his career. Muktabek Oralbai destroys Jack Hermansson. Round 1 KO. Oh, this one was pretty brutal as well. Oralbai coming up to welterweight and Jack Hermansson going down from middleweight to welterweight, draining himself with a nasty weight cut after getting chinned to the shadow realm by RoboCop. It was never going to go well for Jack Manson, was it? I think this might be the end of him, like I kind of called it would be. I said it was going to be a submission for Oribay, but I kind of said it was probably going to be a club and sub. And look, I knew it was going to be a finish. I had a lock on this one in my first round of picks, but I just took it off because I wasn't sure what sort of shape that both these guys would turn up in because it was such a random fight. But yeah, I should have stuck with my gut because it was light work. It was simple work from Muktabek Oribay. He cracks him with an overhand that just sort of grazes the temple right at the back there. Like, didn't really look like the kind of shot that would knock out a guy whose chin's still there, but it was on the back of the temple. It's just in that sweet spot where it can put your lights out. And when you're as drained and, old in your career and been slept like you just have recently, like Jack Manson has, that's all it takes to put him on the floor. And he was out unconscious before he even hit the floor. And then the super necessary follow-up shot should have been illegal. Hey, it was disgusting. So, Jack, mate, you've been taking advice off Alexander Volkanovski for how to manage your career. I think that might be the end of you. His chin's gone, his body's drained out. It's terrible decision-making by his team, and he gets slept bad. So Oribay, the fucking caveman, the Neanderthal, moves his way up. He said he's not sure if he's going to stay at welterweight or lightweight. Wherever he ends up, look, probably better if he can make lightweight easily. He looked a lot smaller than Hermansson, so if he can keep making lightweight, I think that division's a bit probably easier to make your way up at the moment. Awesome. Well done by Muktabek Oribay, one of my favourite fighters. He was in my most entertaining fighters tier list. And you can see why, boys. He's a fucking man. So good shit for the caveman. Speaking of legends, bro. Waldo Cortes-Acosta, rapidly becoming one of my favourite fighters. And, I want to get this guy fast-tracked to the belt at heavyweight. Knocks out Shamil the Meal Deal Gaziev with a big fucking hunger buster combo. Round 1 KO for Waldo. What an animal. What a year for Waldo Cortes-Acosta has had. Bro, he's putting himself up there for a contender for Fighter of the Year. I think if I heard it right, 5 fights in the last calendar year, and he's won 4 of them. The only one he dropped was that sort of close-ish decision to Sergey Pavlovich, which there's no shame in that whatsoever. Salsa Boy sleeps Shamil Gaziev in round 1, just drops him with a straight right that fucking deletes him. Pretty similar to what he did to Ante Delija, but it was way nastier this one too, and he cracked him before that as well. Gaziev came out all smiling and jiggling around and looking real comfortable, and he was feeling himself, bro. The crowd was up into him. He was the hometown guy, and Salsa Boy just rolls in with like a week's notice, flies himself over to Qatar after getting poked in the eye a couple of weeks ago and winning against Delija. He gets backed up immediately by Shamil Gaziev, and it was like pretty similar looking to the way that Delija backed him up, and Salsa Boy's just up against the cage, bobbing and weaving, zigging and zagging, and Gaziev did clip him with one shot, and I was a little bit worried for a second. And then Gaziev just loads up and throws a big hook, and Cortes-Acosta just dodges it, clips him with a straight right. It kind of wobbles Gaziev and got him off him. And then once they got back to the center of the octagon, he just put that straight right from hell on Shamil, and fucking he topples down like a big sack of shit that he is, and he's flatlined. And it's Waldo Cortes-Acosta. It was actually really similar to the Delija performance. So rinse and repeat from Cortes-Acosta. Give that man 50k as well. Give him 100k. Give him another fight. He said he wants another fight before the end of the year. Calls out Curtis Blades or Tom Aspinall. Chuck him on UFC 323. Give him some respect. Put him on the main card. This guy is a fucking legend. Get him a path to the belt stat. Waldo Cortes-Acosta chucks his fucking eye patch on. It's becoming his signature move now. Puts the eye patch on Bisping as well. I was laughing my ass off thinking, don't put it on the wrong eye, bro. You'll blind him. But yeah, good shit from Salsa Boy. So good. And then he's like, his English is improving too, but he tries to go, I love the Qatar. And he goes, I love cunt. And he fucked it up, and Bisping was laughing his ass off. So, oh man, that was really satisfying and heartwarming. That good shit, Waldo. Speaking of satisfying and heartwarming, and just another amazing fight. Geez, this card was fucking sick, actually. Kyoji Horiguchi whoops up, destroys, obliterates Tagir Ulanbekov. finishes him, like pieces him up and actually destroys him, like warmed into the fight. Round 1 was close. Round 2, he belted him up. I think one judge gave it a 10-8. And then round 3 makes him quit and fucks him up and puts him to sleep with a round 3 rear naked choke. One of the most satisfying Dagestani destruction jobs of all time. Kyoji Horiguchi, man, welcome back to the UFC. That was a big performance from him. As I said, round 1 was super competitive. Kyoji was a bit busier though, and I still gave him that fight. He looked so much smaller, man. Tagir is a big weight bully, and like it looked like, and I think it was a 7.5 inch reach advantage or something for Tagir. I don't know how he lost, to be honest, but Kyoji was just bouncing around, looking a lot faster and, looking pretty clean. Round 2, he fucking drops Tagir Ulanbekov and busts him up, cooks his leg up. He knocked his leg out a couple of times and sat him down. And Tagir was panic shooting and like really looking like he was quitting fast. And every time he came back into the corner at the end of the round, Islam just looked like a disappointed dad. Hey, he was like trying to fucking scream motivational speeches at him like, what are you doing, bro? You got this, you got heart, you got soul. And Tagir was just ignoring him and just looking down, and I could tell he was done. He quit mentally very quickly into that fight against a little fucking rodent in Kyoji Horiguchi. So absolutely gutless. He's got no ticker whatsoever. Tagir Ulanbekov, he's always been pretty shit. And the coin flip gave me up Kyoji Horiguchi in this fight. To be honest, I probably was going to pick Tagir, but I didn't have enough faith in him that I was going to actually pick him. So I was pretty happy taking whatever the coin gave me this time. And the coin comes up clutch and gives me that big underdog pick of Kyoji Horiguchi. And I think I said by decision. He was on his way, but ends up getting the fucking awesome choke at the end. He just dropped him bad with like I think it was a big overhand shot, a head kick. I think he head kicked him and then followed up with a big uppercut or something. Tagir just crumples against the cage. Kyoji jumps on the back, takes his neck, and sleeps him, and he went to sleep so fast. I think he was just so, like, he was half chinned already, so he went to sleep really quick, and it was fucking beautiful. It was artwork what Kyoji Horiguchi did to that Dagestani dog. Tagir was sitting down crying on the cage at the end, and Kyoji went off his guts in his interview. Fucking was like, business, Pantoja. He called out Pantoja, who apparently is his teammate, so fuck yeah, I love a bit of that. Daggies don't do that shit either. Mad cunt energy from Kyoji Horiguchi. I like him. And the coin back to 3-3, 50%, perfectly balanced as all things should be. Good shit, Horiguchi. Luke Riley versus Bogdan Grad. Oh, another sick performance. Kind of went how I call this one as well. I said it was going to be, I think, a round 2 or I think I said round 1 TKO for Luke Riley. I said he's going to, it's going to be a statement-making performance and put himself on the map, and it really was. Look, Bogdan Grad is pretty good, and he was working his game plan in round 1, just, high pressure, grappling, having a red-hot crack. Put Luke Riley down a couple of times and made him work his way back up. But the judges called it pretty well. They said, I've seen this happen to Luke Riley before, where he gets wrestled, but he stays in there and gets to his feet and then just lands the right-handed doom, and that's exactly what happened, bro. Right at the start of round 2, every round starts on the feet. Luke Riley immediately puts a left hook on Bogdan Grad's chin that fucking spins his head almost 360. Jumps on, and like Bogdan Grad is totally out of it, but he's still got his wits about him to like try and latch up a guard or something like that. And but he was too concussed, and Luke Riley just follows up with piston-like ground and pound. He was kind of standing half postured up and just landing really tight straight shots, and just accumulated 3 or 4 more on Bogdan Grad's chin and knocked him out clean and put him to sleep. And Mark Goddard gave him plenty of opportunities, but eventually jumped in and saved him. So, nasty-ass debut for Luke Riley. Shame his old mate didn't get the win, Shem Rock. But, really solid from Luke Riley. Good performance from him. He's going to be a force at featherweight, and hope they give him another good friendly matchup next time, because I think this guy's got some potential to be a star. So, good shit, Luke Riley. Nicholas Dalby versus Saygid Izagak Maev, bro. What the fuck was that? It was a very, very shit night for Islam and his team. Saygid Izagak Maev, one of the worst Dagestani showings in history. What the fuck? Like, I know Dalby's a dog, and he showed that he's a dog, man. He's a fucking dog, all right. He's in there breathing like one of those deformed fucking French bulldogs going fucking making the grossest noises trying to just breathe oxygen. But that's what he does, bro. He's a fucking dog, and he just outworked Saygid, his Mac Gaziev, whatever this fucking guy's name is. Hopefully I don't have to ever say it again because they should cut him. He just gassed, doing absolutely nothing, clinching up. Like, Dalby came at him with a plan to kind of put him up against the cage and clinch him up, and it worked, bro. But it just, even in the moments when he had his own way and he all he wanted to do was shoot awful takedowns into the clinch and then do absolutely nothing. So, look, it was a shit fight. Dalby just did his thing and took over the fight as it went on. He clearly won round 3, I thought. Out-hustled him. There was a couple of rounds that could have gone close, but I was feeling after the fight like, it's got to go to Dalby. Dalby deserves to win this fight. There's no way this Saygid guy did enough of anything to actually win the fight. So I'm glad the judges saw it for Dalby, because even though I picked Saygid and it ruined my perfect streak up till then, I was very confident that Dalby should have been the winner of that fight. So cut this fucking Saygid guy immediately. A full disaster performance from him. Fuck him off. We don't need any more pricks like that in the UFC. Him and Tagir can both get fucked. Asu Almabayev versus Alex Perez. Round 3 submission. Awesome flying guillotine thing for Asu Almabayev. Yeah, this one had me a little bit worried though, because I picked Asu Almabayev by decision, and Perez had him on the cards for the first 2 rounds. I fully thought that Perez was winning that fight clearly for the first 2 rounds, and then just... he's a professional loser, bro. I chucked Alex Perez in my professional losers, in my paid to lose tier list. Make sure you go watch that video if you haven't. It's a fucking banger. And look, I've had a 100% success rate of picking those guys to lose, and it's working every time. This is why the channel picks are going so good. We're at nearly 70% since I've started the channel, over 11 cards. Look, Perez, the master of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. He was winning this fight clearly. Then just, what did he do? He went for a takedown at the start of round 3, and Asu Almabayev, who was looking mid the whole fight, just jumps up onto like a flying guillotine, times it perfectly, latches it up, and he's just like such a wiry, nimble little dude that he got his hand under the neck, and Perez was about to go to sleep, and he couldn't do anything about it. It was pretty fucking insane. It's one of those it's like one of the best submissions of the year, and I reckon we'll probably see it on some highlight reels later in the year. So, solid stuff from Almabayev, but he kind of looked like shit for the first 2 rounds. Look, Perez was looking pretty good. He was doing a lot of damage, and every time Asu would land a shot, Perez would just fire back 2 or 3 in a leg kick. Like, he looked really good in rounds 1 and 2. So, he'll be dirty with himself because he was going to win that fight. But, yeah, we got another pick there. Almabayev, he's moving his way back up, but, yeah, not ideal performance, but good shit. Speaking of the professional losers, bro, I hope you guys got that free money for putting it on Abdul Rahman Yakyayev. Round 1, club and sub, nasty shit from Abdul Rahman Yakyayev. He comes out there, tries to decapitate him with a spinning heel kick in the first 5 seconds, almost lands, then just blitzes in, lands another head kick that actually fucking lands flush on his chin, knocks him down, he sort of scrambles straight back up, then he picks him up and slams him down and dunks him, fucks him up for a bit, and then just jumps on his neck and latches up a choke with no hooks, rolls to the back and gets the tap. Fastest light heavyweight submission, I believe they said, or one of the fastest, like top couple. Rafael Sequeira. I'm actually come full circle now. I reckon keep this bloke in the UFC because the light heavyweight division is so shit that it needs some highlight reels built up. So just chuck him in there against every single light heavyweight prospect and let him fucking get murdered. Because, yeah, they look pretty sick on the highlight reels. And, yeah, poor Sequeira. But Abdul Rahman, comes in and blitzes his debut in the Contender Series, fucks up Rafael Sequeira. Watch this guy. You might be a problem with light heavyweight. Alexandre Topuria destroyed Bekzat Almakhan. Look, pretty close, decent fight, but he won every round in my opinion. Dropped him twice in round 3. Looked good. Looked a lot like Ilya. Had a good Philly shell going on, and it was just hunting him down the whole fight, doing visible damage, busting him up. Almakhan, tough as nails. He had a pretty solid showing for himself, but Topuria's just on a bit of a different level there, I reckon, and he looks like he's improving to me, so I'm keen to see how he ends up. He's on a 5-fight win streak now. He's a pretty clean-looking character there at bantamweight, so geez, it'd be a sick fight Ilya versus Alexandre. But that was a pretty good performance from Topuria. Keen to see what he does next. Ismail Naurdiev absolutely starches Ryan Loader. I called it for a round 3 KO. This is just another weird, cooked little brain cell moment that I had, thinking that, oh, you know what, Ryan Loader might have a bit of a good showing here for himself. I still picked Naurdiev, but I said maybe he's going to get it done in like round 3 or something after a bit of grappling with that. But this one was good night fucking Irene. It was just an overhand right within the first, I think it was minute and a half, and just flat lines Ryan Loader, sends him flying about 5 metres across the octagon. Night, brother. You're toast. You're done. The violence, the doom came very, very soon and early on this fight, and it was great to see. Ryan Loader, yeah, he's another guy that I probably should have chucked on the professional losers tier list, and maybe if we ever do a follow-up, he'll go on there. I don't think he's going to hang around for much longer in the UFC, but yeah, Ismail Naurdiev gets another layup, and good shit from him. He's back. Narulo Aliev puts on a pretty solid performance against Shem Rock. Look, Shem Rock had a bit of a crack. He started off all right. He was landing some kicks and that, but I thought this guy was going to have a bit more for him. I called this fight pretty well as well, but I did underrate Narulo Aliev striking a bit. I thought this was going to be a boring, typical Daggy wrestling clinic, but it wasn't really. It was a good mixed martial arts performance from Narulo Aliev, and he looked really good. He impressed me. Yeah, he actually looked a lot like Khabib. They, not just looked like him, but fought a bit like him. Good kind of wild, scrappy striking set up by the threat of the takedown, and plenty to like about that Narulo Aliev performance. He was wobbling Shamrock over and over in rounds 1 and 2, put plenty of good ones on his chin. Shamrock's chin's pretty solid. Fucking Scousers, we don't get knocked out. Yeah, they fucking don't, eh? But he almost did, eh? Shamrock had a couple of moments. He got the mount for a second, but Aliev just was really good defensively as well. These Daggy guys, they know how to defend a takedown and they know how to negate BJJ very well. Clean 30-27 domination from Narulo Aliev. He's a problem. Hopefully he doesn't sit out for another 2 years, because I want to see him have another fight pretty soon. The card opened up with Denzel Freeman versus Marek Bulyo. I got up at 2 a.m. to watch this fight. Easily could have had another half an hour sleep there, but it is what it is. I picked Denzel Freeman. It was basically another coin flip. I almost used a coiny on this, but there wasn't a whole lot in this fight. It was just Marek Bulyo looking like a fucking Walmart Tybura, doing absolutely fucking nothing, just trying to throw the odd leg kick here and there, getting out-volumed by a guy who was fighting at sparring pace and just did nothing. And if you do nothing in a fight, how the fuck are you supposed to win it? So Freeman making some really strange noises throughout the fight, going, hey, pretty strange. Like, him and fucking Nicholas Dalby should have a fight. That'd be fucking music to my ears. That'd be a symphony of cooked fucking noises. Absolute bozos, these two. Look, I like that the UFC is trying to recruit some more heavyweights, but they're digging deep into the bloody barrel of doom to get these guys, because neither of these guys is that flash at all. Denzel Freeman does a little bit more. He's a bit more active, gets the win. I think it was 30-27. You can't give Marek Bulyo around. He did literally fucking nothing. So don't know what that guy thought he was doing, but I picked, Denzel, and got off to a good start. Boys, the card was fucking awesome. I love these stacked fight night like Abu Dhabi cards, even though they're a prick of a time, and even though it's annoying that all the good fighters are going to fight over there, they're always bangers, they're always stacked, and you can't complain about how that card went. Lots of finishes, the picks were on point. Channel's cooking right now, boys. We got a little multi cooking there as well, so that was nice. And yeah, what more is there to say? Good shit, Arman Tsarukyan. Dan Hooker, he'll be back. He's a fucking mad dog. He got headbutted and still took the fight. There'd be a lot of those Daggy cunts, if they got headbutted in the weigh-ins, they would have pulled out of the fight. So Dan Hooker, fucking love that dude. Respect to him. Punch-On's fucking certified legend. That's it, fellas. Hope you enjoyed the card. Hope you enjoyed the picks. Hopefully you listened to a few of them. A few of my mates rang me up in the middle of the night and said, bruh, these picks are fucking sick. And they were, boys. I missed out on a couple of good ones just with Menifield. There's always like one cook little pick that I do that ruins my perfect streak. So I'm not mad. I'm happy. This card was fucking awesome. We've got a couple of weeks off. I'll keep the content flowing though. I've got a couple of sick video ideas I'm working on. I'll see you boys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Sub, like this video. If you enjoyed these picks, definitely smash the sub button, boys. We're cooking. We're almost at 100. Let's get there in the next couple of weeks. Punch-Ons forever, baby. Let's go.